Hi, cheers, and welcome to the show. Hello, Mr. Longwood. Mr. Henley, cheers to you.
Cheers,
And
Captain.
Cheers, Captain.
our traditional, let's start off with a shot. And as always, I like to tell everybody which one I'm drinking today. Happen to be drinking Mango Tango from Code Rum. We'll give them a shout out again later on in the show. But we welcome everybody here to our 25th episode of Captain's Quarters podcast. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm hoping that we have people watching us now as it is. Look at all the people there. My goodness, there's a whole lot there. Very good. So, let me make a quick introduction because many of you see there's an extra face in the screen. This is my good friend Stephen Rise. He is the vice president of the board of directors of the Humane Society here in St. Johns County, correct, Mr. Steve? Very good. So we will be talking to Steve about the Humane Society and pets in general and the history of pets in the United States. But let's first take care of the things we normally like to do, which is our quote of the week. Mr. Longwood, I believe you have that one. If having a soul means being able to feel love and loyalty and gratitude, then animals are better off than a lot of humans. My goodness, I couldn't agree with you more on that one. I just, pets are the most important thing in our world sometimes, I think. I know, Mr. Longwood, you have a cat, right?
Oh, I do, and he does feel he is the most important thing.
Of
Before
course.
the episode, there he is in the chair. He was going to do the podcast.
He was going to do the podcast. Look at that. And of course, everybody knows I have a basset hound, Maximus Mayhem, and three cats, Dorian, Maggie, and Cooney. And we'll show you pictures of them in a little wait later on in the show. But Mr. Henley, do you have any animals?
All right, Captain. We have three dogs, three very annoying dogs, but I love them to death.
Annoying dogs. Yes, I think annoying may be the number one used description of for everybody when they describe their pets. Annoying. Yet they say it with love. If I am knowing my words right, they say it with love. And of course, let's throw the question of the week out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's very simple. Are you a cat or a dog person? Mr. Steve, what are you, a cat or a dog person?
I have both. I have four dogs, four cats, and a rabbit.
Four dogs, four cats, and a what?
Rabbit.
A rabbit. Well, there's a combination for you. You know that they have bred rabbits and cats together, don't you? Did you know that?
I did not.
They did. They have. They're called cabots. Yep, cabots. Very good. Mr. Henley, you don't need rabbits around your house with a dog, right?
Oh no,
With three
she
dogs.
will
What kind of
take
dogs do
off.
you have?
So we have a Chihuahua, a Wiener dog, and a Pit Bull.
Ah, what a combination.
Mm-hmm. She's a
And
big
let me
baby.
guess, the Chihuahua is the king.
Oh, you bet. He is
Yep.
feisty.
I hate those little dogs. So everybody has dogs. Lots of people have cats. You'd be surprised at the numbers in the United States of America. Who's got what? In fact, let me bring that up and tell you exactly what the numbers are in the United States of America. Believe it or not, in the United States of America right now, currently, there are, pardon me while I put these on so I can read the other screen, 76,811,305 dogs registered or in the world of the United States of America, and cats, 58,385,725. So there are more dogs as pets than there are cats. Very interesting. Well, how about Mr. Longwood? Let's pop this up and let's do a quick talk about our crew adventures for 2022.
Hi, Crew Adventures.
And there it is there, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend coming up, March 26th and 27th, we are doing the Lions Club Spring Fest, which used to be known as the Lions Club Seafood Festival, but they now changed it to the Spring Fest. We will be doing that with them. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers will be out there on Saturday and Sunday doing pirate games for the kids. And we have all kinds of prizes. We've amassed about 300 or 400 prizes that we're going to have out on the table, and the kids get to take their pick if they win the game. And then, of course, Captain Mayhem's Magic Show, 2 times on Saturday, 2 times on Sunday. Come on down and have a good time. It's looking to be a wonderful time. June 18th is our hopefully set in place for our Midsummer Night Gala. We're not doing the Louisiana Pirate Festival in April because so much was going on here in September. We could not leave, but we will be talking about the Louisiana Pirate Festival with Alvin Brumfeld, my good friend. I've been friends with Alvin since 1990, give or take, and he is the owner of the Louisiana Renaissance Festival. There he is right there. Good job. Look at that. He was all ready for St. Patty's Day, and that castle area back there is the entrance to his Renfest and to his Pirate Fest, which his first one was last year. So he's our guest next Monday night, and we'll be talking about that. And of course, we're still working on a rum festival for August, and our Christmas and our Halloween, and of course the Captain's Quarters podcast every Monday night at 8 o'clock. We look forward to having you in there and being a part of our show. So come on out and hang out with us at any time. So that's all that. Let's go on to what we're supposed to be doing tonight. Talking about pets. Scarlett has 4 cats, all named after gemstones. The dog named Jack. I didn't name him. He came to me with that name. So what did he do? Show up on your doorstep and say, "Hi, my name's Jack." Love cats and dogs and everything in between. Very good. I am an animal person. Right now I have a very large fluffy cat, 15 pounds, little fat. A little fat? Love both, but we have 2 cats and 2 turtles. Hey, that reminds me of the joke about turtles. You hear about the turtle that had the rug burns on his belly or on his bottom shell? It's because the little kid was trying to use him as a race car. Oh well. Diefendorf, cats, he said. Very good. And he wants a macaw. So here's the extra one. We decided to do an extra quote. And this is by a man named John Katz, who's written about 30 different books. And there's his website, 30 different books on animals. Go back to that. There's My Animals. There's Dory in the Circle, Maggie in the Heart, Cooney in the Tombstone, and my beloved Maximus Mayhem there, Guard the Christmas Presents. But the quote, "Animals have come to mean so much in our lives. We live in a fragmented and disconnected culture. Politics are ugly, religion is struggling, technology is stressful, and the economy is unfortunate. How true all 4 of those are. What's one thing that we have in our lives that we can depend on? A dog or a cat loving us unconditionally every day, very faithfully." That, my friends, really does sum up modern day history right now and the way things are. I come home from doing 5, 6, 8 tours in a day. Kids are okay, but I do love my pets. And we'll sit on the couch at night and watch television together. At least Cooney and Max will sit with me. Maggie doesn't really like sitting with me, and Dory's just running around the house looking for any kind of trouble he can get into.
Cooney is a pirate cat.
What's that, mate?
Cooney is a pirate cat.
Yeah, Cooney is a pirate cat. There is no doubt about it. Cooney is definitely a pirate cat. We got Cooney kind of out of the wild, so to speak. Once in a while, he runs out the door, but he doesn't go very far because I think he's liked living in the house now for the last couple of years. He gets out to the end of the sidewalk, looks around, and then just struts back to the door like he had planned it all along. It is just an amazing thing that he does that. So, my rum diaries is on. I just noticed that. Hey, nice to see you there. Hope you're enjoying our show. And today it's just talking about pets and animals. And something that's very important, ladies and gentlemen, here in St. Johns County is the Humane Society. How about that for a segue, ladies and gentlemen? And that's why we have Mr. Rise, Mr. Steve. He's a good friend of ours. And we thought maybe having him on, we could talk about the Humane Society because they're always in need of help and assistance. So let me ask you a question, Mr. Steve. How long have you been on the board of directors of the Humane Society now?
Right now, it's going on 3 years.
3 years. Very good. But you just got promoted up to vice president, huh?
Yeah, that was this year. Every now and again, people want to move around. They have other things they want to take care of. So, they moved me. I'm not going to argue with them.
And and why the Humane Society? Why are you working with the Humane Society?
Well, if I've always, my whole life, I've been passionate about animals. I've always had pets. I grew up here in St. Augustine, so I'm well familiar with the Humane Society, what they've done ever since I was a kid. I've adopted animals back when they adopted animals back 30 years ago.
So it when you're a member of a board of directors on something as important as a Humane Society, which does so much for the community, does it take up lots of your time?
It not really. No, it's we meet once a month for about 2 hours, and we have go back and forth on emails and group chats and stuff like that. So it's everybody on the board works with full-time jobs. So I mean, we just when we all have free time, we get together and do stuff. Or we have a meeting every third Thursday of every month. So it's minimal amount of time, but it's.
Don't look now, but Mr. Davies playing with his chicken. That one's not going to the Humane Society. That one's going to the glue farm. So the Humane Society is a 501?
501c3, yes.
All right, very good. And they've had quite a long history in St. Johns County. Can you give us a little of that?
Well, they were originally founded in 1946, and they were partially funded. They were, partially funded through the county. And about 25 years ago, the county and the Humane Society split up. They decided to do, the animal control, and the animal control, they actually house the animals now. They collect them and they house them. And so the Humane Society really does not adopt out animals. They work with organizations that do that, but they really have nothing to do with actual adoptions.
Okay. But they provide all kinds of services for people here in the county for their animals, correct?
Yeah, they have all kinds of programs through the Humane Society. There's whatever they can do to make sure that you keep your animal at home. If you can't afford to keep them, Humane Society has programs to help you, with food and veterinary care. Because the Humane Society is a 501c3, it's nonprofit, so everything that the cost they pay for everything is the cost you pay for. There is no, inflation for a profit or any way, shape, or form. So they pay for the cost. My rabbit's going nuts. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Once in a while, my dog will jump up into the screen too. So Maximus needs to be a center of attention quite often.
But yeah, they. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm looking at my notes here. So the Humane Society relies on grants, donations, sponsorships, and fundraising services, correct?
Correct.
So explain, I know what donations are. I know what grants are. When I saw this part, and I know what fundraising is. What's sponsorship?
Let's say a business or a company, whatever, wants to sponsor the Humane Society, so it's basically an annual sponsorship. So like every year they'll donate a certain amount of money, and then we'll put their logo up on the website or the calendar, because we have sponsorships for the Nut Paws calendar we do every year. And for sponsorship, you get your whatever money you put into your sponsorship, you get a different size logo in the calendar.
Oh, very cool. And what a wonderful segue. That really puts us into talking about your fundraisers and the way you do things. And you have a fundraiser once a year. Up until COVID, it was at Guy Harvey Hotel, because I participated in 2019. But because of COVID, you switched everything over to directly at the Humane Society, correct?
Yes, it just made more sense. It was we wanted to bring the people in and let them see. So because every place we looked at to try and do a fundraiser with COVID, it was like you can only have so many people here, you can only have so many people there, and then your limitations on food and this and that. So we just decided to do it at the Humane Society. So we had music and and we actually did tours of the facilities, so everybody could see what the fundraising paid for. All the new equipment. They just did in the last few years. They just renovated the entire building, which is.
I did. I saw that they did a nice job on the renovation. So all the money that you're raising, whether it's through donations, grants, sponsorship, or fundraising, some of the services, you have a wellness clinic, you spay and neuter animals, you have the food pantry, you have educational programs, you have a feral cat program to try to take care of the population or the overpopulation of feral cats in the county, which really is pretty large. There are a lot of cats and feral cats around.
Yeah, we actually, the Humane Society will actually, if you come in and have an issue with feral cats, they'll let you borrow a cage for a small deposit. You get the money back when you bring the cage back, but you bring the cat in, and for a low cost, they'll do a spay and neuter and take care of it, and then you just take it back home and release it. So the feral cat program is designed so that you can bring the cats in, take them home, and then it stops the overpopulate. They can't breed anymore, which is, we don't need any more animals wild in the neighborhood.
No, we don't, and that's really a great way to take care of it. I mean, it pains me. It makes me sad. I see pictures all the time on Facebook where people have dropped off their pets, and at different, not just Humane Society, but animal shelters and whatever, because they don't want them, can't keep them, whatever the reason is, they drop their pets off, and it just breaks my heart.
Don't
Because
get me
I just
started
think,
on that, Captain.
what's that dog thinking, or what's that cat thinking that my family just abandoned me? I can't handle it. Sometimes and obviously I can't even find the words to explain how really upset it gets me. Davey, you got a cat. Have you had the cat for the entire time? Was he a rescue?
Yeah, he was. Wags and Whiskers. We got him, so he was a rescue. He's been awesome.
So, are your dogs, Steve? Are they rescue dogs?
Two of them are. I've had two of mine are 15 and 16, and the other two are 4 and 2. The 4-year-old, I actually saw him on Facebook Marketplace. I didn't even think you could sell animals on Facebook Marketplace, but these people were selling the puppy, and we went to go pull up to do the little exchange in the parking lot, and I honestly thought they were trying to sell the dog for drug money. So we just threw the money in the window and ran, because the dog's in a better place right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it is heartbreaking that some people don't have the compassion for animals that those of us that love our animals do. I lost my favorite dog, and Max has taken his place, but I had Harry for 16 years. And when he passed on, it killed me. I mean, it literally killed me. And it just, I don't know, hard to say. So let's talk about the fundraiser a little bit more. Let's get off the sad part. So you do a calendar yearly.
Yes.
And you have people submit pictures of their pets, and you do a theme of the cat for each calendar, because the year I helped, it was a pirate theme.
Yes, it was first year, well, second year I was into pirating, and I had we were looking at possibly choosing another charity for the crew I was in, and I brought Carolyn into a crew meeting to see if that was and discuss what the Humane Society did. Granted, the crew didn't go that direction, but I realized at that point I had a calling, so I just dove into it head first, and I've been part of it ever since. So it's
well, the St. Augustine Swashbucklers have been a huge, and not a huge part. That would be not quite exactly right. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers have been a large supporter in collecting food at many of our events that we do, and turn it over to the Humane Society to help them out. We've helped a few other animal organizations, but we always tend to turn right back to the Humane Society and help them out. And it's a just cause, and we're doing this whole episode tonight on the Humane Society because we want people to know that we really truly do support their work. They're wonderful people down there. I have a good friend that is down there, Carolyn Smith, and I've done a whole lot of conversations with her on what we can do to help and however we can help. And you've got great medical people down there, and some of the staff is voluntary staff down there too, right?
yes, anybody can volunteer down there as long as they have a need for it. If you want to go down there and volunteer, they'll find something for you to do.
Very cool, very cool. And we keep running all the information across the bottom of our screen of the Humane Society. We hope that people will jot it down, memorize it, do whatever you need to do, because the need for food, especially, and that's the next subject we're going to talk about. You started a little food gathering project about a week or so ago, and we wanted to help out. The crew was going to. We had planned for a little private crew social on Saturday night, but we had some medical issues in my family that caused us to have to postpone it all. And many of my crew had already collected food. So I'm going to put it out there before I give you your chance to talk about what you are doing, Steve. I'm going to put it out there to anybody that's watching us now, my crew included, anybody else. We're going to collect food for the Humane Society all the way up to the 31st of March, the end of March. That's 10 more days. If you can't donate food because you don't live in the area, or you just like to help out, Mr. Longwood has put our Swashbuckler PayPal. You can donate money to PayPal, and we'll take every dime that comes in. Nothing will go to the crew. Every penny you put into the PayPal account in the name of the Humane Society will be used. And what we'll do is we'll take the money and we'll go buy food. We'll look at all the places that have good deals on food, and we'll go buy all the food we can. We'll take suggestions from the Humane Society. And the crew has already put $100 into that fund right now because they just finished the Celtic Festival, and we run a beer booth every year with the Celtic Festival, and the crew just had already voted to take $100 of that and start this monetary fund to go buy food. So we're going to be giving you a whole bunch of food on the 31st of March, maybe even the 1st of April, and it won't be an April Fool's joke. I can tell you that. So tell us about the project you are working on.
Well, the food drive I started, I just happened to go by there one day and find out they were pretty close to empty. So I just started my own food drive, and I started pushing it hard between all the pirate crews here locally. And I've gotten a pretty good response from just about everybody here in town. And then I got calls from the Brethren of the Space Coast, from gentlemen in DeLand. And he's actually brought up, he came up on his day off and dropped off probably 300 or 400 pounds of food. And because he works for Home Depot, he actually was able to have, I guess, the store manager of that store donated a $50 gift card for whatever they needed.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're going to try to help you out. And next Monday night, because the 31st is 10 days away, which is next Thursday. So we will make sure that we tell everybody on the 28th a little bit more. Mr. Henley, make sure you remind me of that. And then on the 4th of April, we'll tell everybody how good we did. And I expect to have help from anybody and everybody that's watching. $1 or $2 here, $1 or $2 there into our PayPal account. It all adds up. and we'll just buy as much food as we can. I already know that some of our crew has already picked up several bags of food. I don't even know what the poundage is right now, but from conversations I've had over the last 24 hours since Saturday night, we're in pretty good shape. So,
I did have one thing to add
go ahead.
to this, because it was brought to my attention that there is also a need for like the science diet, the prescription food.
Right.
If people could donate some of that, that would be great, because there is times where, you know, somebody brings an animal in and they need prescription food and they can't afford it, because honestly, yes, the prescription food, the science diet kind of food, that is, I guess it's the hills, but it is not cheap by any means.
Would it be easier to give the Humane Society a monetary donation so that they can pick out the right kind of food in that circumstance?
Well,
Or is the brand Science Diet an okay brand then to buy?
Science diet or Hills, I think it's Hills food.
Okay.
You usually find this type of food in the actual most veterinary offices. That, you know, it's in a white bag or white can.
Okay.
But
we'll
they
put
have
the word out to our crew and see if we can locate some locations where it can be, and maybe add that to the list. Mr. Henley, you're back again. Little rough water there?
Yeah, sorry. We're losing internet out here.
Yeah, you're out in the boondocks.
Yep.
Well, we'll work on that, Mr. Steve. I think we'll do everything we can for the Humane Society. We'll see what we come up with. Now, your calendar last year, the way the calendar works, people can enter pictures of their pets under the theme, and then you put all those out on the website and have people vote, correct?
Yes. Anybody and everybody can basically enter a picture of your pet, and then you can just advertise it as much as you want and say, you know, and basically what it boils down to is, if you want to vote for your pet, every vote is $1. So every vote is a $1 donation. And then at the end of the contest, the top 12 the top 12 entries get put into the calendar. And last year alone, the calendar contest raised $23,000.
That's a lot of money. That's 23,000 votes at $1 a vote. That's a lot of people involved in it. That's a really good project. I think we might have to get involved in it this year. When does it start for 2023?
I think we've got another 4 or 5 months there. We're still working on a new theme for this year. The last meeting we had, we were still trying to work out all the details, but when we announce the theme, that's when, we start the calendar contest.
Okay, well, keep us informed on whatever the theme is so we can do that. Adam just asked a question: is it better to give smaller bags of dog food so it's easier to distribute? I think it is, but I have an issue with that. But go ahead and tell us what's the proper thing.
Well, I mean, I've seen people donate, 30-pound bags and 50-pound bags, and the way the program works is, somebody applies for assistance and they have to go up to the Humane Society once a week for the food. They have to go in and say, well, it's my turn to get food. And the 10 to 15-pound bags are better because they can just hand that bag to that person. And 10 to 15-pound bags usually will last a week or a little over a week. So, but that's easier for, us to take out of the pantry and give to the person. The 30-pound bags and the 50-pound bags, we actually have to, divvy up a little bit, open them up and larger, smaller bags.
And I understand that, but some of here's the only, and this is the conversation I had with my wife, because she was trying to tell me that we need to just buy smaller bags. The thing is, though, that if you go to some of the pet stores, when they tell you it's a 30-pound bag, and then there's a big red banner on it that says 8 bonus pounds, you're getting more bang for your buck, more food for your buck, so to speak, if you buy the bigger bags.
Yeah, that is true. So we'll take just about anything that's donated. We have no problem with that, and we'll divvy it up. But I mean, if it's easier for somebody to buy the 30-pound bag or the 25-pound bag, it doesn't really matter at all. We can divvy it up just as easily.
Well, we'll make sure that we put the word out for everybody in any direction. Donation's a donation, especially if it's all going to the fur babies anyway. So a donation's a donation. So is there anything else you want to tell us about the Humane Society? I mean, I think we pretty well covered everything as far as my notes are concerned. Did I miss anything, Mr. Steve?
Well, I think we covered quite all of it. Yeah.
Well, we'll always be supporters and helpers. I was curious about the sponsorship idea because that might be something that the St. Augustine Swashbucklers will look into and do. We have two charities that we primarily deal with, and that's St. Augustine Youth and Inc., Investing in Kids. Adding the charity of the Humane Society as a once-a-year thing monetarily, aside from the food that we would collect and donate, might be a really good thing for the St. Augustine Swashbucklers to actually do. Do you know, are the sponsorship programs in monetary levels?
Yes, they're right now the sponsorships they have are primarily just for the calendar contest. Every monetary donation gets you a different size logo in the calendar.
All right. Can you make sure that information gets over to me?
I'm sorry?
Get that information over to me so we can see what we can do. So by the time the calendar comes around, we can see what we can do about being a part of it. Very good. Very good. Well, cool. Well, Mr. Davey.
Aye.
I know we could sit here and talk about the Humane Society the whole time, and we don't want Steve to lead. We want him to throw in any input about pets if he wants to. But let's talk about pets in America for a little bit and the history of pets. Did you say you had a video on cats?
Yeah, cats in Egypt.
Oh, well, let's see it.
All right.
Pets and animals are a big business in the United States, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, they are.
We know that animals were.
Well, that was nice. I found something that I thought was interesting. Let's see. Some of the most famous animals, not necessarily dogs and cats, that people that you might wonder what happened to them, like Bubbles the chimp. That was Michael Jackson's animal that he used to. Bubbles was thrown out of Neverland and never returned. While it is rumored that Bubbles attempted to commit suicide in 2003, the chimp is still alive and well in the sanctuary. Wow, that's pretty sad that the poor chimpanzee was so sad that he wanted to do himself in. How about this one? The Taco Bell dog. Anybody know the name of that dog? I didn't know that until just now when I saw it on the screen. That dog's name was actually named Gidget. And that dog was euthanized after suffering a debilitating stroke. And he lives in our memories, YouTube videos, and animated GIFs. Yo quiero Gidget. I dreamed that my cat was trying to drive my car. Well, Donna, was the cat doing a better job driving than you do? How about Mr. Ed, the talking horse? Remember him from the TV show?
Yep.
His demise was very dependent on who to talk to. Some say the horse was euthanized in 1968, but buried in Oklahoma bamboo harvesters. Alan Young claims that the horse was accidentally given too much tranquilizer while in his retirement home and died a few short hours later. Oh, that's a shame. Spud McKenzie, not long after this last scandal, Honey Tree Evil Eye succumbed to kidney failure. That was the real name of Spuds McKenzie. Eddie the dog from the television show Frasier. One of the things I saw when I was looking through everything before people decided that cats and dogs were good pets. I'll throw this as a question out there. Anybody have an idea what many people thought made good pets? And we'll TikTok back and forth for a minute, see if anybody has an idea. Mr. Henley, you have an idea?
I don't know. There's a lot of.
What do you think, Mr. Longwood?
Probably dogs.
Well, before dogs and cats.
Oh, before.
Yeah. What do you think, Steve?
Horses.
Dogs and cats. That's a tough one.
I'm thinking maybe cattle.
Zachary Harker is almost right. Kids, but not the way he's thinking.
Goats.
Goats and sheep. Goats and sheep became pets. Now, there's all kinds of pets. I found another one. I'll see if I can find it again. But on the list of pets, the top pets, fish, rabbits, snakes, dogs, cats, hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs, and parrots.
Ooh, parrots.
And anybody that takes on having a parrot in their family is taking on a lot of responsibility. That's for sure. So birds, Diefendorf, birds, you're absolutely right. Parrots were on the list. So let's see what we've got in the section on everybody joining our conversation. Why don't we see what we got going on in here? I'm looking at everything. The Rum Diaries say they are a dog person. That's good. Zachary Harker is just an animal person. We like that. Diefendorf wants a macaw. We already did Scarlet. You have a pet kraken named Twinkie? Oh, but that's a secret, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I let the cat out of the bag. Oh, look at that. An animal joke. How about that? See anything on there, Mr. Henley or Mr. Longwood?
I think we're all caught up.
Adam Lemon says that Hellfire thinks that goats and sheep are excellent companions. Well, that's probably true. Mason. Well, there's all kinds of things that we can talk about. Sheep, we can talk about goats, we can talk about cats, dogs, but animals in our lives really do give us a calm sense of life. And those people that devote their lives to being veterinarians and taking care of them for us, that's very important for us too. There's not much I could say that I haven't already said, but I still remember dogs from my childhood. I remember a German Shepherd I had when I was in the first grade. His name was Peanut. And I had a Basset Hound in the 1980s. His name was Peanut Valentine because I bought him on Valentine's Day. So it's I can't. When I lost Harry, I lost a piece of my heart, and I swore I would not get another dog. And then all of a sudden, I end up with Max, and he's filled that hole in my heart greatly. And that's what they do. You come home, and they're bouncing up and down with joy to see you. And I, I even feel bad. Oh, look at that!
That's
There's
a pet too, powder monkey.
Yeah, there's the powder monkey. I feel bad when I have to take once in a while. I have to take my dog to, and I'm going to do a shout out for Kathy's retreat, Cindy's retreat up here on US 1 by the house. Once in a while, I have to put Max there because I just can't take care of him because of all the work I have through the weekend. And I feel bad every time I take him there because it's, you're dropping your kid off to be in a strange place, but he doesn't waste any time going through the door and not even looking back to say goodbye. He just right on in. He loves it there. The first time I took him there, he was there for 3 days, and we went to get him. And when they brought him out, he looked at me and turned around and went right back in again. So I guess it's not so bad for him. And Cindy's retreat, they do a really good job with the animals out there. So they know Max on a first name basis. So that's very good. So animals are a huge part of our life, and we need to have them because they make a difference in our lives, a huge difference. I know that my wife having the health issues that she's having over the last week or so because of the surgery, if it wasn't for her 3 cats, she'd probably be very, very sad right now. But those cats, as frustrating as they can be, they make her very, very happy. So any good animal stories? Somebody just give me a good animal story here. Oh, your sister is going to be a vet, you say, Henley?
She's already started. She
Good,
went to UF
good.
a couple months ago and started in the dental department.
Well, very good. That's a good thing. She's currently in doggy dental department, and she loves it. Very good, very good. So, Steve, you got a favorite pet joke or a pet? No, let's leave the jokes out. You got a favorite pet story?
Oh, well, I had a beagle growing up, and we got him when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and we were like best buds from the first day. And unfortunately, there was times where I would misbehave. My father would put me over his knee and spank me, and the dog would attack him. Not let anybody touch me. And this was like late 70s. Things were a lot different than they are now. My parents had no problem like letting me at like 5 and 6 years old walking down the street by myself with the dog, because that dog would attack anybody that came close to me. It was absolutely hilarious how ferocious he got, but it was he was a good dog. He lived to be about 18 or 19.
Wow.
He was my best friend all through my young years.
Wow, 18 or 19 years. That's a long time for a dog.
Yeah, it's with the advances of modern medicine with animals, dogs don't succumb to illnesses like they used to years and years ago, so they live longer. So now the problem with that is now dogs are suffering old. Just like one of my Shih Tzus, I have 4 Shih Tzus. One of them has, the oldest one appears to have dementia. So from time to time, I have to kind of push her in the right direction because she seems lost, or she'll walk into a wall, stuff like that. She forgets where she's at.
Yeah, we have to pay attention to Henley once in a while. He walks into walls here, so yeah, we have to put him in the right direction. So, what are 400 rabbits hopping backwards called? A receding hairline. Very good. Whichever one of you on the Captain's Quarters podcast put that.
I did that, Captain.
That's what I
Just for
thought.
Stephen.
Very good. Yes, there's not been, when I was in the military and traveling around and I was on my own, I didn't have animals. And I did not realize how much I missed not having animals until I started to settle down. And I got Harry in 1999, and we had him until 2015, and then we got Max in 2018, I think. He's almost 4 years old now, and it just, so there's some really good. You know what one of our questions should have been, Mr. Longwood? I just thought of this one, so we're going to ask it now because we have a little bit of time before we have to jump off to anything else. What's your favorite animal movie? Everybody's thinking now. Look at that. So this will date my age and everything, but one of my favorite animal movies, and I went to the drive-in theater to see it when it was a brand new movie, was Old Yeller.
Ugh.
That's the movie that'll make you cry at the end. And Steve, that response tells me you've cried at the end of that movie.
I have a hard time with any animal because there's, it's just, there's not always a happy ending.
So a more modern movie, Fox and the Hound, Christy Thomas, that's a good one. But I'll tell you what, a more modern movie, I think it was called A Dog's Life. It's about 4 years old now, A Dog's Life. And it's about this, it's about the idea that when a dog dies, his soul comes back into another dog. And this dog in the movie had like 4 or 5 different lives. And the last life he had was with the same people of the first life he had, and his habits and everything, they actually believed him to be the dog from their originality. All Dogs Go to Heaven, that's a good one too. Jurassic Park, all right. Black Beauty or Beethoven. Man, some really good movies are popping up here. A Facebook user, Old Yeller, one of 2 movies for which it's not only okay for guys to cry, it's mandatory. Yeah, you know what? I would agree. A Dog's Life was an excellent movie. It really was. And I will tell you, Adam, I cried. I truly did cry at the end of the movie. And it's not that it's a sad ending, because the dog doesn't die. The dog is reunited with his original family, and that's just such a, I mean, there are other parts in the movie. One of the lives that dog had was a terrible life, and I cried at that point too. So I cried several times in that movie, and you know what? I'm not ashamed to admit it. I cried, and I will cry for animal movies. I see sad things on Facebook all the time. I saw a picture months ago of somebody that dropped their dog off at the shelter, and that poor dog was sitting with his face in the corner. I mean, it just, I want to actually almost cry right now, because I just can't understand how you drop off a member of your family and just say, bye, done with you. I just don't fathom it. And when people are cruel to animals, I'm willing to hire out as a real pirate when people are cruel to animals.
Yeah, especially when you have that animal for 10, 12 years, and then all of a sudden you hit hard times and you send it to the pound or whatever. It's you can't really fathom what the animal's going through. I mean, it's like, it's watching you walk away and knowing that dog will, it'll never see you again. I mean, it's heartbreaking. I mean,
it's terrible. I mean, I've jokingly said this, but my wife knows that she'd go before the animals will. And of course, that's jocularity and laughter involved in when you're in hard times. A dog or a cat knows when you're in hard times. I know. I am convinced they know, and they know when humans aren't eating very good. They understand too. They know. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's sad and it's very hard. I see a lot of people that see. I've even got a small tear in my eye now thinking about it. Damn, crap. All right, let's talk about something else. I'm looking at the script, Mr. Longwood. Let's see where we are on the script.
This week,
How about a week in history? You got one?
Of course.
Good. Get it up there. There were some really interesting ones there. I really like the American history ones, which brings me to the comment. Ladies and gentlemen, every week, we're just going to pick something different that's interesting about the history of this country, this state, or this city, and just have fun with it like we did tonight. Steve, you were great on the show. We thank you for being here as part of the show. We really want to do what we can to help the Humane Society, so you have but to call us anytime you want.
Okay.
And maybe even the podcast will get involved too. We're working on some ideas to do some out in public podcasts, live podcasts. We would. What's that, Mr. Longwood?
The Captain Quarters parlay. That'd be
parlay.
Good.
We're talking about doing some recorded versions of this that we can put as midweek or mid-month, so people can just watch us. And those recorded versions would be us out in the public doing kind of like a man on the street. And we're working on that now. Maybe we could do something with the Humane Society or do one on location at the Humane Society. That would be a whole lot of fun.
Well, Carolyn would love that.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. Maybe do a tour, put it all on camera, and that would, whatever we do with that episode or for that whole video, that would be a donation on our part to help out, get the word out on the Humane Society. That's not going to be any kind of a, if we need any money, we have plenty of supporters to help us do those kind of things. So we'll see what happens. New on the horizon, we already talked about next Monday night would be Alvin Brumfeld from Louisiana talking about the Louisiana Ren Fest and the Pirates of Pontchartrain. Their Pirate Festival is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of April, I believe, that first weekend in April. And I wish I was going to be here, but oh well. How about a call out to all other crews? Any crews that want to be a feature of one of our episodes, we'd love to have your captain or your representative be a guest on the show to talk about your charities, your work, your crew, your membership, anything you want to talk about. We've already done it with Scarlet Deerheart. We have plans to do it with Ransom Mayhem, and we've done it with Gina Marie, and we're going to talk about her sirens again more often. And this is also a call to our guests and our sponsors. As you can see, we have Dick's Wings, Paper Strings, Pirate and Treasure Museum, Colonial Oak, and Shiver Me Pictures. Those are some of our sponsors. And at the very bottom, you can see who we take care of giving our money to. And I think we're going to put the Humane Society on that and start showing it off next week. So the Humane Society will be one of the ones that we sponsor via St. Augustine Swashbucklers and the podcast. All you have to do if you want to be a guest on the show is send us a message. Give us an idea of what you think would be a fun episode that you'd like to be involved in. If you're a captain of a crew or you're representative of a crew, send us a message. Instead of us sending invites out all the time, we just put this word out at the end of every show, hoping that people will hear it, spread the word, and that way we don't get in trouble for not inviting somebody. Basically, this is an invite to everybody. Everybody and anybody that's watching the show and wants to spread the word, great. Put the word out. Let's see what we can do. We'd love to have you be a part of our show, part of our podcast. This way, instead of us sending out messages and then getting accused that we had snubbed somebody, we won't snub anybody because we're sending this out to everybody. So we know that Shipwreck with Morrow is going to be one of our episodes, and there's a couple of others in Michigan and in even Nova Scotia up in the way. We're going to have them on the show soon. Our subscribers, we've bounced up to 193 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. We're only 7 away from 200. I make an offer. The 200th subscriber will get a gift from us.
Ooh.
We have 4 sponsors. We have Patreon members that are sponsoring us. We'd love to have you be a Patreon member. It's $5 a month, and we give you one of these. If you're a $5 a month member, you get one of these right here. I have one here, but Mr. Longwood's going to put it up there. That's the front of it right there. That's the back of it. It's a poker chip, a $100 poker chip that's not worth $100. You could take it to Vegas. There's a black chip. Try to use it, but probably won't work. But we want you to have one of those and you can make it into a keychain or a necklace or whatever you want. But we have plenty of them. We'd love to give them all out. I have about 30 of them. Love to have some $5 sponsors, and we'd send you those. If I missed any of our $5 sponsors making sure they got one of those chips, please have them let me know. And starting in April, we're looking at inviting a couple of our supporters to be in our after show. We run about 15 to 30 minutes after the show, where the show closes out and goes to YouTube. And then guess what? We just sit around and talk, have a couple of drinks, get opinions, talk about what we did wrong and what we did right, and had a good time. So we hope that you will join us for that, and we'll be putting the word out on that. And let's see. I guess we've covered it all. Have I missed anything, Mr. Henley? It's your job to keep me on track. Have we done
Not
well?
at all, Captain. We are right on schedule.
Very good. I believe then we've done a good job. Mr. Longwood, are we missing anything from your point of view?
No,
Any last
Captain.
messages?
No.
All right. Well, I see a couple of people have made some offers to drop some food off to us here shortly. That's great. I understand, ladies and gentlemen, that with the way of the cost of gasoline, that driving in any way, shape, or form, make sure it's just on your list of other errands that you have to do. Don't make it a special trip. You can let us know via a message or email or Facebook that you plan on doing something in the next 10 days, and we'll figure it out. If I have to, I can always stop by and do what I need to do to help out so that not everybody's spending a lot of money on that gasoline that has become the lifeblood of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to say goodbye. I believe we just pulled into port. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here. Steve Rise, thank you very much. Thanks to the Humane Society for all the great jobs they've done, all the work they do for our county. And it's a pleasure to have had you on the show. Thank you for all the information. Any last words before we sign off?
No, I think we've covered it all.
Very good. We'd like to have you come back. In fact, maybe it would be a good idea that when you figure out the dates of the calendar episodes and everything that you want to do, maybe we'll have you come back and we'll talk about it and get some extra support for the calendars this year.
And I will talk to Carolyn to see if we can do go into her place one night and just do like a tour of the facility.
I'd love to do that. That would be a lot of fun. Let's look at maybe April or May, probably May.
Okay.
All right. And by then, maybe you'll all figure out the times for your calendar and we can combine it all into one thing.
Okay.
Very good. Well, I think that's it. We've done well. We've gone 1 minute over our time, but that's okay. It's our show. We can do what we want. We're pirates. So sign them off, Mr. Longwood.
Part of the podcast.
Is Henley sleeping?
Yes. He's playing with his gun.
Ah, is that what it is? So let's start it again. Henley, pay attention.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always to the crew. Cheers to all. Goodbye, and we see you next week. Huzzah!